All right, welcome back. We are in Fog Island. We've just now entered. We got healed up, snuck our way through obedience. I was gonna kind of show that, but that's something you can go discover yourself and check it out. It can be pretty dangerous, but there's dangerous enemies there, but there are not a whole lot of them. It's very similar to Floodlands, the Floodlands or Floodlands. I don't know. Maybe I have a weird accent. Anyways, I have these people moving all together to get to basically, okay, if you look at the map, you could imagine I mean this is a spoiler, but there is a city in the center of the of Fog Island, this part of the map that's up in the kind of northwestern corner of the not corner, but northwestern section of the map. And we're gonna head to here. So I'll just tell everybody move together. Now I'm gonna talk about that real quick because I do this. I've been doing this a lot so far. Later game, I don't do this type of movement together as much. Um, at mid to late game, I'll do more like following stuff, which uh, that's I'll get into that later. But basically, just to give you an idea, I'm gonna select all my characters, make sure they're kind of bunched up together, so they're kind of together. Didn't change the thing. I remember I talked about the speed thing in an earlier video, but this basically allows for um, everyone to move at the same speed. Now the caveat to this is it tells them to move at the same speed if you tell them all to move together. If you have people following other characters, the character you tell to move will just move at whatever speed they're set to move at, which could be if they're running or sprinting that can be faster than everybody else if they're like a higher level character, which I mean that makes sense, right? You a lot of times if you're like leading a march somewhere, your higher level character would be leading the march and everybody else would follow them. So they'll just run this if you have it set to this, they'll just run at their full sprint speed. It's kind of frustrating. Um, the other thing that's different about telling people to follow is that in this condition, I'm going to give everybody the move order, and then they're all going to move to the same place. Now, the only time this gets a little bit irritating is when you have sometimes the pathing will tell people to go they'll just different characters might decide to go a different path for whatever reason. I don't know. It's a little glitchy. So they might get split up a little bit. That can happen. Doesn't always happen. It might just be temporarily, and eventually they'll merge back together. But it can be kind of uh, not good if you're in a hostile territory and they get too far separated from each other. You want people close to each other to be able to help each other out with fighting or defending each other and whatnot, or healing each other and things like that. So that can be kind of irritating with this type of movement. But in the scenario I am now, I'm moving into a very hostile. I'm just telling you now, this everyone you encounter outside of the city we're moving to is going to be hostile towards you, or at least the primary enemies that live here in this area. So the thing is that we want to move together because basically my goal at the moment is I just want to get them from point A to point B. I don't want to get into an encounter fight. I know I keep saying that, but like people are, on the weaker side, and that there's some particular game mechanics with the way these enemies behave when you fall in battle and all that I'm trying to avoid at least for the moment. I may get them into a situation where everything just falls apart just to show you what can go wrong, and just reload it from that. I'm not sure yet, but this is basically or reload from behind before that and pretend it didn't happen. But if I do that, it'll be like I do it on purpose to show what can go wrong. But at the moment, we're just going to try to sneak through because we're trying to avoid being seen. I'm selecting all my characters. I'm telling them go to this location on the map. I'm going to hit play and let them go. See, that's what I was talking about. This was annoying with this. I'm just going to let it go because they'll probably meet up again soon, but it's kind of irritating because like Red for whatever reason decided to go all the way up the mountain. I think they're probably going this way, and I don't know, whatever. So that doesn't always happen. It just does sometimes. And now I could tell her to come group up with them, which I probably will. Uh, Okay, we discovered Mongrel. So I did tell her to get her butt back over here and get together with us. Now, you'll see you'll see these pop up on the map, and these generally mean it's like an animal nest or yeah, like an animal nest or a den or something. So that's something to be aware of. Oh, and Dread is being seen. Who's seen her? Oh, here we go. So this is where I'm just gonna give you all the spoilers and tell you what's going on here. I mean, if you don't want to know, just don't watch this and go up here and just find out what happens to you. And because that's how I found out the first time, and it was epic and absolutely awesome. And honestly, I think it was one of the things that early on probably made me fall in love with this game a lot because it was just like I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So, anyways, what's going on here? I'm just going to tell you. You're going to see, you basically notice these guys are bluish, turquoise looking colored, their body, but they're bugmen, they're hivers. Um, but it says fog heavy fogmen. So there's up here there are fogmen, and that's what they're called. And these are hivers that basically they're cannibal hivers. So they eat you. You have a fog prince, and you'll see these little groups wandering through. This guy's a fog prince, and these guys are fog heavy. They kind of escort the fog prince around. And to be honest, unless you purposely attack the fog prince or the fog heavy guys when you see them, they will for the most part leave you alone. They don't directly come and attack you when you're just walking through. However, as you know, the different characters in that you can be as hivers, as a prince, a fog drone soldier, or whatever these guys are, or a drone, which is we don't have a drone yet. We will soon. Anyways, spoiler: the drone will the drones, there's lots of the drones. So if you think of them as like an insect hive, there are lots of drones, and the drones are directly aggressive towards you. And basically, their job is to capture food for the prince and the heavies to eat. They kind of have like a hierarchy in their society. And anyways, that's how they function. And the drones, their job, they just go hunt you down. So anyways, since I saw that guy, I was like, okay, that's what someone who's seen her. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment because that's a fog prince. We don't care. Okay, this is the thing that can also happen with troop movement. So that's really what I was trying to focus on. We're trying to get all these guys to move there. So a lot of times it's when you're getting near cities or when you're in parts of the map that have like crazy terrain where, hills and valleys and stuff like this. Sometimes the pathing, I think they just get a little confused and they don't really know where to go when you tell them to go somewhere. So sometimes you just have to keep clicking and like unpause, like, oh, they're not moving. Sometimes you just move them a little bit and then you can go click it and maybe yeah now they're back to moving around. So, anyways, I'll stop recording and start again if we run into anybody. But basically, you can see the fog. It's hard to see far away from you. There's a reason we came through here at night so we can try to avoid being seen because our primary goal is we want to get from point A to point B. That's it. Yeah, so I just saw some other movement right in front of my other characters as another group, and I paused to just see who it was. It's another Fog Prince and Fog Heavy. Now they don't see me either, but I think even if I stand up and like they can see me now, but they're not aggressive towards me because these guys just generally aren't off the bat unless they you attack them. But the fog drones, which I haven't seen a horde of yet, and by a horde I usually mean actually a horde, um, they do attack you directly on site. So I'm just gonna keep moving, sneaking, try to get there. And you can see Red finally caught up to everybody else and figured out what to do. I also did just see some additional movement out here. And it's more of those guys. It's funny. Sometimes I don't see those guys hardly ever, and then other times it's like, oh, there's more. There's some more. Okay. Anyways, um, I will mention this too. If you do manage to kill Fog Prince, which they aren't super hard to fight. It's the numbers of Fogmen that you run into that become the problem. But the Fog Prince uh, is a good uh, is a good income source to some extent because their heads are worth a lot. So when you look in their inventory, you can collect their head. It's kind of unique to those particular characters on the map, but just so you know, that's something you can do if you want. Okay, so that was rather uneventful. So I'm going to go actually purposely getting them into trouble just to show you what can happen. But basically, um, we made it to Mongrel. So Mongrel's a good place to go. There's a lot of great stores here, a lot of good equipment, and blueprints, which we haven't talked about yet. But there's a lot of good stuff you can get here. There's also Shinobi Thieves Tower, which is nice for us. And the nice thing about this is this generally, I mean, it might get attacked by like the Holy Nation or something, but they don't really come up in here. Um, and so this these tower will be relatively intact. Like whatever happened previously shouldn't happen here. I haven't seen that happen before, at least. But anyways, this is a cool spot to go to. You can do kind of like use this as like a home base. Um, okay, we're gonna go see. Okay, these are frogmen, so we're just gonna run out here and see what happens. So these are frogmen. They're just drones. They're pretty wimpy. Like you can see, that was an escape servant, and he kicked his butt. We're just gonna run down here because this is like a den of, or whatever you call it, tribe of frogmen, and this is what frogmen do. So once they KO you, they're gonna come pick you up and take you and put you on a prisoner pole and tie you up, and you have to try to escape. And if you don't escape, the prince that we saw earlier running around, that's when he becomes a problem for you because then he eats you. He eats all your leg. He starts with your legs, eats them off, then eats all your arms. And if you haven't bled out by the time that happens, then they start to eat the rest of you. So that is why they're a problem. Um, and now this is going to get real hairy real fast. So just watch, because I'm gonna let it get be a problem. So these guys, they're low level. We're gonna fight them. They're gonna sit here, and we're just gonna hang out here. There's the servant. He's running away. Okay, so now that I'm down here, there's like more of them are gonna come, and they will just come in like large numbers usually. So we're gonna fight them and see how that goes. I'm just gonna let this play out as it plays out. I wouldn't normally just do this with them low level. Now they're getting great fighting experience, and that's one of the great things about being here when you're early game and low level. These guys are easy to fight, but they become a problem when they show up in large numbers, which they're gonna do. Like here's Reg. Actually, they're doing really good. Maybe they're just gonna kick their butt and be fine, because you can basically wipe out most of them that are in this area, and then it'll take a while before they respawn again and come back. But if you go wandering around here in the map in the fog, you'll find more of these dens, and you'll just run into just like really large hordes of these guys wandering together, and they just attack you. And it's kind of like you saw how I beat that skeleton with my low level guys. Here they are. They're showing up. That's going to get bad in a second. Um, they can beat you down just because there's so many of them. They just beat you by like the numbers. Now you can't get good enough that like one character can just like slaughter a whole bunch of them, and it's not anything you even need to be concerned about. But right now we're just barely getting competent at fighting, so these guys are gonna like beat us down. I think, and maybe they won't. Not enough will show up, and we'll be fine. Let's see what. Oh, see, Hobbs got knocked out. He's knocked out. Let's see, these guys are just. I was like, why are they down there? Oh, they're just because they have crossbows and they're shooting at people. So I mean, we're kind of well equipped for the moment, so we might do okay. It depends on how many keep showing up. Now this poor guy. We can be nice and help him out. At least heal him, and then leave him here, and he'll get eaten. But we're gonna heal ourselves up, so we're fine. We did okay. That was not very eventful. It could have gotten real lot worse. But that's kind of what you have to worry about in the Fog Island. So it's just about a matter of. Oh, see, that guy was he had Hobbs. I don't know if you could tell, but he was carrying Hobbs and running off with them. See now, this is where some of the automation stuff is helpful too, because uh, Hobbs is KO'd, and Boop went ahead because he has find and rescue as a job. He was like, okay, let me take him. And the Shinobi Thieves Tower is not too far off. It's close enough in this location where we're fighting where they're gonna automatically go, oh, let me go take my bro and put him in bed so he can heal up. So, anyways, that was it. That was kind of that was less exciting than I was hoping it would be, but that kind of gives you an idea. That's why you kind of want to sneak in here because if you're farther out and you start getting attacked by them, you can start getting your start getting hurt, and then you slow down, and then someone gets KO'd, and you got to carry them, and you're encumbered more, and you got to. So you can see how this can go badly very quickly, and then you can just get over. Basically, they can just overwhelm you. Um, I was kind of hoping that I could just let them get overwhelmed down here and then just roll with it, and I was just gonna let that happen, and then not pretend it didn't happen, kind of save scum it. But since they lived, it's like okay, they got some combat experience and we're fine, and we'll go back to town and do what we're gonna do next, which is recruit some other characters.